Buckingham Palace is buzzing with intrigue after Prince William made a surprising decision that has everyone talking. The approval of a title change for Duchess Sophie's children marks a significant shift within the royal family. Insiders revealed that this bold move reflects Prince William's vision for a modern monarchy while honoring tradition. The unexpected announcement has left royal watchers stunned and eager to learn more. This historic change has sparked widespread interest, raising questions about its implications for the future of the royal family. A decision of seismic proportions has sent tremors through Buckingham Palace. Prince William, the heir to the throne, has taken an unprecedented step by approving a title change that directly impacts two relatively private royal figures, Lady Louise Windsor and James, Earl of Wessex. This move signals a dramatic shift in royal strategy, aligning with William's modern vision for the British monarchy. For years, the monarchy has been navigating a delicate balancing act, honoring centuries-old tradition while adapting to the evolving demands of the 21st century. Now, as King Charles III contends with health challenges and an ever-changing public perception of the royal family, Prince William has decided to act. At the heart of this decision are two young royals, Lady Louise Windsor, 20, and James, 16, the only children of Prince Edward, Duke of Edinburgh, and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. Unlike their cousins who were born into the limelight, Louise and James were raised with a strong emphasis on privacy and personal development. Their parents made the conscious choice not to give them the title of His or Her Royal Highness from birth, allowing them the freedom to pursue a relatively normal upbringing. However, that era of quiet discretion now appears to be over. Buckingham Palace's statement confirms that this decision recognizes Lady Louise Windsor and James, Earl of Wessex, as integral members of the royal family. With the approval of His Majesty the King, the Prince of Wales has made a formal recommendation for their increased involvement in royal duties. This step acknowledges their potential to serve the crown in a modern and evolving monarchy. Though brief, the statement carries monumental implications. This decision marks a clear departure from King Charles's once rigid stance on a slimmed-down monarchy. For years, it was assumed that only the direct line of succession, the King, the Prince of Wales, and Prince George, would carry the bulk of royal responsibilities in the future. Now, the tides appear to be shifting. Insiders suggest that King Charles III's declining health has played a role in this development. His reduced public engagements have resulted in Prince William taking on an increasing share of royal responsibilities. Meanwhile, the departure of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle from royal duties, combined with the aging of senior royals, has left gaps that need to be filled. By bringing Lady Louise and James into the fold, Prince William is ensuring that the monarchy does not become stretched too thin. More importantly, he is making a statement about the future, one that values loyalty, quiet service, and a modern approach to duty. Still, the move is not without controversy. Royal experts are divided on what this could mean for the future of the family. Some see it as a practical step in reinforcing the monarchy, while others speculate that this is just the beginning of a larger shift in how royal titles are granted and revoked. As speculation swirls and debates rage on, one thing is certain: this is a bold move from Buckingham Palace. The legacy of the Duke of Edinburgh is a title steeped in history. The story of Lady Louise and James cannot be told without delving into the history behind their father's title, Duke of Edinburgh. The title is one of the most prestigious in the British royal family, deeply intertwined with the legacy of Prince Philip, who held it for more than 7 decades before his passing in April 2021. When Prince Philip married then Princess Elizabeth in 1947, King George VI granted him the title, making him the Duke of Edinburgh in honor of his Greek and Danish royal lineage. For over 70 years, Prince Philip used his title to advocate for youth development, education, and global environmental efforts. His most enduring legacy remains the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, a global program that has shaped the lives of millions of young people. When Prince Philip passed away in 2021, the title was automatically inherited by his son, Charles, who was then the Prince of Wales. However, once Charles ascended the throne in September 2022, the title reverted to the crown, creating uncertainty about its future. Traditionally, it had been expected, and even agreed upon, that the title would eventually be passed down to Prince Edward, Philip's youngest son. In 1999, Buckingham Palace released a statement confirming that it was Philip's and Queen Elizabeth's wish for Edward to inherit the Dukedom of Edinburgh once it became available. But King Charles hesitated. For 6 months after assuming the throne, Charles deliberated on whether he should grant the title to his youngest brother. Reports suggested that the king was reluctant to hand it over due to his vision of a slimmed-down monarchy, a plan that sought to keep only the most senior royals in the spotlight. However, on March 10, 2023, after months of speculation, King Charles III officially conferred the title upon Prince Edward, a decision that came as both a relief and a surprise to royal watchers. The official statement from Buckingham Palace read, "The King is pleased to confer the Dukedom of Edinburgh upon Prince Edward on the occasion of His Royal Highness's 59th birthday. This title will be held for His Royal Highness's lifetime." It was a moment of vindication for Prince Edward, who had spent decades supporting his father's charitable causes and assuming a quiet yet dedicated role within the royal family. But the decision came with a caveat, one that would shape the future of the Wessex children. Unlike other hereditary dukedoms, this title will not be passed down to James, despite him now holding the Earl of Wessex title. Instead, once Prince Edward passes away, the Dukedom of Edinburgh will revert to the crown, potentially allowing it to be reallocated in the future. Royal experts believe that the most likely future recipient is Prince Louis, the youngest son of Prince William and Kate, Princess of Wales. This strategic move ensures that the title remains closely aligned with the direct line of succession. As Buckingham Palace braces for a new era, the spotlight now turns toward James Alexander Philip Theo Mountbatten Windsor, more commonly known as James, Earl of Wessex. At just 16 years old, James is the youngest nephew of King Charles III and, as of 2024, stands 16th in line to the British throne. This is a stark contrast to his position at birth when he was 8th in line during the reign of his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. Born on December 17, 2007, James's birth took place at Frimley Park Hospital, a location increasingly associated with royal births due to its accessibility for members of the family living at Bagshot Park. Unlike the highly publicized births of his cousins, James's arrival was kept relatively low profile, reflecting his parents' preference for a quieter upbringing. Despite being automatically entitled to a princely title under the 1977 letters patent, his parents, Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, chose not to style him as Prince James but instead gave him the courtesy title Viscount Severn, a nod to Sophie's Welsh heritage. This decision aligned with their broader effort to raise their children outside the intense scrutiny that had historically plagued younger royals. For much of his childhood, James's public appearances were minimal. He was educated at Eagle House School, a prestigious preparatory school in Berkshire, before moving on to Radley College, a renowned all-boys independent school in Oxfordshire. His education has been a major priority for his parents, who have emphasized the importance of balancing royal responsibilities with personal development. Yet, while he may have grown up away from the cameras, James's presence within the monarchy was never entirely absent. He made his first public debut at a major royal event in 2016, participating in the carriage procession at Trooping the Colour. As he grew older, he attended several key engagements, including the 2022 Platinum Jubilee celebrations for Queen Elizabeth II and the coronation of King Charles III in 2023. One of the most poignant moments in James's young life came in September 2022, following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. At just 14 years old, he joined his sister Louise and his 6 royal cousins in standing vigil around their grandmother's coffin at Westminster Hall. This silent tribute underscored the depth of his familial devotion, showing a young royal with a deep sense of duty despite his largely private upbringing. As James approaches adulthood, the biggest question remains, will he take on a formal royal role? The recent shift in his title to Earl of Wessex suggests a growing recognition of his place within the family. James, Earl of Wessex, like his sister, has the choice to adopt the His Royal Highness styling when he turns 18 in December 2025. Insiders suggest that James's reserved personality closely mirrors that of his father, which may lead him to choose a low-key path. Rather than becoming a working royal, he might opt for an auxiliary role in supporting the monarchy. However, the evolving demands of the royal family, combined with Prince William's strategic efforts to strengthen the younger generation's involvement, could influence James's ultimate decision. If James has been raised in quiet dignity, Lady Louise Windsor has been nothing short of a hidden gem within the royal family. With Prince William's decision to bring her into the fold, many are beginning to wonder whether this young royal is about to take on a far greater role than ever imagined. Born prematurely on November 8, 2003, Lady Louise Alice Elizabeth Mary Mountbatten Windsor entered the world under extraordinary circumstances. Her mother, Sophie, then Countess of Wessex, suffered a placental abruption, a severe complication that led to an emergency caesarean section at Frimley Park Hospital. At the time, her father, Prince Edward, was on an official visit to Mauritius. News of her premature birth took him by surprise, and he rushed home to be by his wife and daughter's side. Despite her tumultuous start in life, Lady Louise grew up with a profound sense of grace and composure, qualities that have made her a favorite among royal watchers. However, what truly set her apart was her remarkable humility. Unlike her royal cousins, Louise's formative years were spent away from the media spotlight. She attended St. George's School in Windsor before enrolling at St. Mary's School, Ascot. A particularly notable aspect of Louise's life has been her deep connection to Prince Philip. Among all his grandchildren, she was arguably the closest to him, sharing his passion for carriage driving, a sport he championed throughout his life. In fact, Louise inherited her grandfather's driving ponies and carriage, a sentimental gesture that solidified the deep bond they shared. While her public profile remained relatively subdued for years, Louise's appearances at major royal events, such as Trooping the Colour, the Platinum Jubilee celebrations, and the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II, demonstrated her poised and composed nature. However, it was her participation in the 15-minute vigil alongside her brother James and their royal cousins during the Queen's lying in state that truly marked a turning point. The moment was both historic and deeply personal, showcasing the respect and admiration the younger generation had for their late grandmother. Beyond her royal duties, Louise has also made history in her own right. She became the first royal to take on a summer job when she worked at a garden center in 2022. This move was widely praised for its down-to-earth nature, proving that despite being a granddaughter of Queen Elizabeth II, she was not above earning her own way. In September 2022, Louise enrolled at the University of St. Andrews, where she is currently studying English. Interestingly, this is the same university where Prince William met Catherine, now the Princess of Wales, a parallel that has not gone unnoticed by royal enthusiasts. However, Louise's most unexpected decision came in 2024 when she joined the British Army's University Officers Training Corps, UOTC. The move was seen as a bold step, indicating that she was not only embracing discipline and leadership but also showing interest in a potential future military role, an area traditionally reserved for senior working royals. With Prince William's decision to elevate Louise, speculation has grown over whether she could eventually receive the title of Duchess in her own right. Some experts argue that as a direct granddaughter of Queen Elizabeth II, she is one of the most well-placed royals to take on an expanded role in supporting the monarchy. Unlike James, who will soon face a decision about his Royal Highness status, she has already turned 18 and thus retains the right to choose whether to adopt her royal title. While her mother, Sophie, once suggested that she would likely decline, recent developments suggest otherwise. If we are talking about James and Louise, there is no way we should skip their mother, Duchess Sophie. Her journey within the royal family has been one of quiet perseverance and earned respect. Since marrying Prince Edward in 1999, she has become one of the most dependable and beloved members of the monarchy, often regarded as one of Queen Elizabeth II's closest confidants in her later years. Her strong relationship with the late Queen was widely known, with many royal insiders noting that Sophie and the Queen shared a particularly close bond. She frequently joined the Queen for afternoon teas at Windsor Castle, engaging in long conversations about family duty and the ever-changing world of the monarchy. This close relationship made Sophie a trusted advisor, particularly in matters concerning the younger generation of royals. Her unwavering commitment to charitable causes, diplomatic engagements, and royal duties has cemented her as a pillar of the royal family, one who rarely makes headlines for controversy but consistently earns praise for her hard work. Yet, despite her many contributions, there was one title she never received, one that might have changed the course of her public identity forever. In a revelation that has intrigued royal watchers, a courtier disclosed that Prince Edward was initially set to become the Duke of Cambridge upon his marriage in 1999. The title, later bestowed upon Prince William and Princess Kate, was one of the most historically significant in the British aristocracy. However, in a turn of events that few could have predicted, Prince Edward himself chose a different path, all because of a film. According to a former palace aide, Edward had been watching Shakespeare in Love, a film that featured a character titled the Earl of Wessex. Fascinated by the sound of the name, Edward reportedly asked Queen Elizabeth II if he could take the title instead. In a rare moment of indulgence, the Queen granted his request, and thus Edward and Sophie became the Earl and Countess of Wessex rather than the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. While the decision may have seemed inconsequential at the time, it ultimately shaped their entire trajectory within the royal family. Had they become the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, their profile and responsibilities might have been much more prominent in earlier years. Now, decades later, Sophie and Edward finally hold a ducal title, having been elevated to Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, a position that honors the legacy of Prince Philip and comes with a renewed sense of purpose. As Buckingham Palace continues to adjust to the title changes approved by Prince William, another aspect of the monarchy's transition remains shrouded in mystery: the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II. While much of the recent focus has been on the younger generation stepping into their roles, the Queen's influence continues to loom large over the future of the royal family. The late Queen's passing marked a significant shift that extended beyond titles and duties into inheritance, wealth, and the preservation of royal tradition. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest-reigning monarch in British history, presided over the crown for 70 years, serving as an anchor through wars, societal upheavals, and changes in public sentiment toward the monarchy. With her departure, the monarchy found itself standing at a crossroads, navigating an era of transition and modern adaptation under the new reign of King Charles III. Yet, amidst the ceremonial farewells, state tributes, and global mourning, one question loomed over Buckingham Palace and the royal family: the matter of her will and the distribution of her immense wealth and possessions. Unlike the wills of ordinary British citizens, the will of a sovereign is traditionally sealed, a royal practice that ensures the privacy of the family and safeguards the monarchy's stability. The tradition dates back to 1911, when Prince Francis of Texel was concealed to prevent the scandal of his bequests to a woman outside the royal family. Since then, over 30 royal wills have remained undisclosed, including that of Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, Queen Elizabeth II's beloved husband, whose will was sealed for 90 years following his passing in April 2021. In the case of Queen Elizabeth II, the same secrecy applies. Her will remains sealed indefinitely, and no official details regarding the distribution of her personal wealth or treasured heirlooms have been made public. However, history, tradition, and precedent offer compelling insight into how her private estates, jewelry, and personal possessions were likely divided among her heirs. Unlike the Crown Estate, which is valued at approximately £16 billion and remains the property of the monarchy itself, the Queen's personal wealth, estimated to be between £370 million and £500 million, fell outside the scope of royal institution governance. Her private estates of Sandringham and Balmoral, as well as her historic jewelry collection, were expected to be passed down in accordance with royal tradition. Yet, as King Charles III stepped into his new role, one thing became clear: the distribution of assets was not simply about inheritance but about the careful preservation of the monarchy's legacy. Every allocation, every strategic decision, and every title passed down were part of a greater vision for the royal family's future, shaping the inheritance that would define the monarchy for generations to come. While the specifics of Queen Elizabeth II's will remain sealed from public view, certain inheritances were unmistakable. King Charles III automatically assumed control of the Duchy of Lancaster, a private estate valued at over £600 million, ensuring his financial independence as sovereign. Meanwhile, Prince William, the new heir to the throne, inherited the Duchy of Cornwall, an estate valued at over £1 billion, which serves as the primary source of income for the Prince of Wales. Beyond financial assets, the fate of Queen Elizabeth's beloved residences was of paramount significance. Unlike Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle, which remain properties of the Crown, Sandringham House and Balmoral Castle were privately owned by the Queen, adding to the complexity of her inheritance and the continuity of royal tradition. Both Sandringham and Balmoral estates held immense sentimental value. Sandringham was where King George VI spent his final days, while Balmoral remained the Queen's most cherished retreat, the very place where she spent her final moments. As widely speculated upon her passing, King Charles III inherited both estates, solidifying his hold over these historic royal residences. However, discussions arose about Prince William eventually taking ownership of Sandringham, aligning with his growing responsibilities as the future king. On the other hand, remained a family retreat, continuing to serve as a symbolic home for the royal family. Scottish heritage was one of the most intimate aspects of the Queen's wealth, including her private jewelry collection. Unlike the crown jewels, which remain state property, her personal collection consisted of over 300 pieces, including tiaras, brooches, and necklaces, many of which held historic significance. Reports suggest that key jewelry pieces were allocated strategically, with Queen Camilla, as the new queen consort, inheriting several pieces to maintain royal tradition. Meanwhile, Catherine, Princess of Wales, and Princess Charlotte were rumored to have received heirlooms with deep sentimental value, ensuring that pieces of the Queen's history remained within the direct line of succession. Despite stepping back from royal duties in 2020, Prince Harry remained the Queen's beloved grandson. Given the secrecy surrounding her will, speculation has been widespread that she left him personal mementos, letters, jewelry, or items of deep personal significance. The only confirmed inheritance that Harry and William shared came from their great-grandmother, the Queen Mother, who left behind a £14 million fortune that was split between the two brothers. However, Harry's departure from royal life meant that he no longer received income from the Duchy of Cornwall, a financial shift that marked a definitive break from his royal past. Beyond material wealth, Queen Elizabeth II's greatest inheritance to her family was the legacy of duty, resilience, and continuity. As King Charles III assumes his reign and Prince William steps further into his future role, the distribution of assets, whether estates, wealth, or jewelry, becomes less about personal gain and more about the careful preservation of the monarchy's stability. The Queen's unwavering sense of duty shaped every aspect of her life and reign, and that sense of responsibility now rests upon the shoulders of the next generation. Every title passed down, every estate retained, and every heirloom allocated has been carefully orchestrated to ensure that the institution endures. In a world that increasingly questions the relevance of monarchy, decisions surrounding inheritance, titles, and legacy will shape not just the royal family but also the public's perception of them. Do royal titles still carry the same weight in today's world? Would you have made the same decision as Prince William regarding Duchess Sophie's children? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to stay tuned for more fascinating royal updates.